Women's Wrestling Army are doing their thing, and you're about to hear Maria and Bobby Cruz talk about it. But we've got an army of support behind you in the form of NordVPN.com/Fightful. Now you get 3 great plans. You can get the standard with just a VPN, Plus, which adds a pass, or Complete, which adds a locker on top of that. But you still get the same great deal. You still get an additional month free, and you still get that 30-day money-back guarantee when you use NordVPN.com/Fightful. Change your virtual location with just one click. Avoid geo-blocked content, pay-per-views, get services much cheaper, have a more vast selection of things to pick from, as well as protecting yourself online on all your devices: phone, laptop, desktop, PC, router, all that good stuff. NordVPN.com/Fightful. Browse safely, securely, and anonymously. What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful here with a couple of names you know. We've been so fortunate to interview them both in the past, but now we're here to talk to them collectively ahead of July 8th and 9th, Women's Wrestling Army tapings coming to Chicago. We've got Maria Kanellis Bennett. We got Bobby Cruz. How you guys doing?
Good. Really good.
Hi, Sean.
Bobby, great to see you.
Good to see you, buddy.
We're both indulging in a beverage here, as you can see. I've got the A&W
cup. That's a good cup right there.
I tweeted about them, and they sent me one in the mail. I was so happy about it. See, that's as much as I don't like the Twitter trolls. It's like, okay, the Twitter following's good because I'm like, hey, A&W, and they're sending me scarves and root beer and mugs and stuff.
Now, do you do a root beer float, or because that's what I used to do when we
the vanilla scoop, yeah. They didn't send. I don't think one of those would travel well in the mail, but
no. But what I mean is, have you tried that?
Oh no, I have not. But listen, I'm on the payroll now, so I'm gonna very soon. But Women's Wrestling Army, I'm so excited to talk to you guys about this. So much familiar talent. Like when I saw Jody Threat was there, I'm like a big Jody Threat fan. But it's not just people like Jody Threat who might be bubbling under and ready to break through. It's nationally and globally exposed talent as well. And you guys have had such incredible experience managing really this type of thing in the past, to the point to where so many of the ROH roster that I spoke with were so excited to work with you guys. Maria, we'll start with you. What led you to help launch Women's Wrestling Army?
Willow Nightingale. I blame her.
She's wonderful, isn't she?
She's amazing. Absolutely incredible. So as everything was kind of coming to a close at Ring of Honor last year, several of the women, including Willow, the Hex, and Miranda Alizé, asked us to do something moving forward. And Bobby and I didn't know exactly what that was going to be. At the time, I think we were both very sad about everything that was happening with Ring of Honor. Now we're excited to see what's going to happen in the future. But at the time, it was a very sad thing. And so I had started a Brand Army page, and my Brand Army page was doing really well. And I thought to myself, wouldn't this be a cool way to get content out to our fans that were so invested in the Ring of Honor talent in the past? And in the brand new women's division. And so we started with Brand Army in May, and now we're also on Pro Wrestling TV. So we really started talking about it in December, and it took us until May for our first taping. So it really wasn't that long of a time, but to me, it felt like an eternity.
Yeah. Bobby, being in the role, I mean, your roles had adjusted significantly in Ring of Honor to the point to where you were helping out with this division. And I heard wonderful reviews of the work that you and Maria had put in there, and how you dealt with talent and the ideas that you guys were putting out there. I had numerous people saying, like, this is how it should have been for a long time. How did that feel to know that you were getting that positive reaction and then parlaying it into something like this?
Well, it was obviously good to hear the feedback, not only from the talent, which is, of course, very important, the ones, people you're dealing with show to show, event to event, but also the fan feedback. And it made me feel gratified because I asked about being involved in a women's division for a Ring of Honor for quite a while. But to be quite honest, it also made me feel quite pretty pissed off because they went in other directions. It didn't go well. Obviously, the women's division under Sinclair Broadcast Group with Ring of Honor had not a good reputation. I mean, let's not sugarcoat it, and for a number of reasons. And so it I get pissed off about it. I think about it for about 10 seconds. But other than that, I'm good. It's fine. It's the gratification of we were given the ball, we ran with the ball, our team ran with the ball, and scored touchdown after touchdown and did very well. I don't think we could have asked for it to go any better. There is one thing I will say about our time with Ring of Honor under Sinclair is we were pretty much allowed to do whatever we wanted to with the division. There was very few times that we were told no, whether it was budgetary constraints or anything like that. One was, ironically enough, Mercedes Martinez. We wanted to bring her in at the Death Before Dishonor pay-per-view, and we were told we could not because of a budget thing. And now she, of course, is Ring of Honor Women's World Champion. So it's funny how things work out. But it's definitely gratifying. And I've told the story. Maria's probably tired of me saying this story, telling people this story. But being in Ring of Honor for 17, 18 years, you get close to friends who have been there for not that long, but just as long as far as tenure and so forth. And they would get sick of me raving about the women's division because I think the Ring of Honor women's division in 2021 wasn't only one of the best couple of things in the Ring of Honor itself in 2021. I think Jonathan Gresham being recognized as the superstar as he is, and Josh Wood's breakout, and the Briscoes' continued dominance, and the reuniting of the Kingdom. So you could probably, run off 4 or 5 things, but the women's division is definitely in there, and probably in the top 2 or 3. So people would say, "Oh, you got to stop talking about the women's division. We get it. But I was just proud of what the division was accomplishing.
So you had mentioned some of the things that you guys wanted to do but weren't able to. And I mean, it is kind of ironic. I had reported a while back, the rumor is Death Before Dishonor is the next ROH show. We haven't heard anything about that, but Mercedes Martinez, now ROH champion, heading into what that possibly could be. But you mentioned things that you could and couldn't do. Are there things now that you guys are kind of implementing that you wanted to then? Obviously, there's not that Sinclair machine, and I don't want to call it an ATM, but the financial backing as well that isn't there. But are you guys implementing some of those things that you were hoping that you would do in ROH?
Yeah, I think we most definitely are. We're expanding out into more documentary style footage. Our sit-down interviews are becoming a little bit longer. You're getting to see a little bit more of the women's personalities, and we would have gotten there. With Delirious at the helm, like he was allowing us to do whatever we wanted. I mean, this thing doesn't happen if it's not for him. And I appreciate that so much from him, and that he was allowing us to do those things. But now we can do them even more. Does it suck that we don't have the financial backing? Yes, of course it does. But when you have that, when there's that kind of adversity, there's also room for innovation. You have to learn how to innovate. You have to learn how to create new opportunities if you don't have the financial backing. So it's always a blessing and a curse. And I also think that the last year gave us the confidence to move forward with what we're doing. If we didn't know that it would be successful, then I think it would be a lot harder to be like, okay, yes, we are going to do this documentary style footage. Yes, we are going to let the women tell their stories, the real true stories. Yes, we're going to have them bring their titles and have title defenses on our show. If we didn't know it worked in the past, then I think it would be a little bit scarier. But because we know that works, it helps a lot.
And I think just to follow up.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm sorry, Chuck. Just to follow up on that quickly, we've already made it very clear we want to work with as many other reputable promotions as we can out there. We had on our May 1st taping in Providence, we had a title defense on there. And to be honest, Maria set it up. I didn't know this title existed until she told me about it, ran it by me. I looked it up. I watched, some of the content. I said, okay, yeah, we can absolutely do that. So, we did our second TV main event was Impact Knockouts World Champion Tasha Steelz versus AAA Reina de Reina champion Talia Valkyrie. Neither title on the line, but to have a champion versus champion match like that on one of our first couple of episodes was a really big deal. So we're trying to forge those relationships that we've obviously built over the years, just being talents and being around so long at this point. I know with Maria working in Impact, we want to, do something with Impact Wrestling as well. When Ring of Honor gets going again, hopefully, the two of us can get on a call with TK and do something there, even if it extends to the AEW Women's Division. So the doors are open here. We will do everything we can. We just came off of our joint event with Warrior Wrestling in Chicago, and we had a Mission Pro Championship match there with Holiday defending the title. So it's when I ran this by Thunder Rosa, and I know Maria talked to her previously, but seeing her at AEW TV and saying, "Hey, we're thinking of doing this. Can we do a Mission Pro title match?" She said yes in about -3 seconds. So
Yeah.
it's that's how quickly it was. So we're definitely, that's another thing that I think we can do a little more aggressively. We tried to do it with Ring of Honor. Some of the hands were tied. We tried to work with Impact much earlier than Deonna showing up at Final Battle as a surprise. We tried to get Deonna months before that, and we're just not able to work it out. And a lot of that was, Sinclair versus Impact and so forth. But now, we're kind of our deal, we can kind of call the shots.
To that point, I mean, you mentioned the Warrior Wrestling and Mission Pro integration, but you also mentioned Tasha Steelz being there, the AAA champion being there. Maria is actively performing in Impact. Bobby, you are effectively still carrying the ROH torch and doing it on an AEW New Japan show. So the doors are wide open. It's really cool. And what I really liked is the implementation with Mission Pro and Women's Wrestling Army, because it'd be very easy for you guys to be natural rivals considering the content produced. But Thunder Rosa has long been a proponent of establishing, creating, and helping along women's wrestling talent. And it certainly seems like Women's Wrestling Army is as well. Are there any companies that you specifically have your eyes on that you're like, man, I'd love to do something with them as well?
I mean, I think doing something with Ring of Honor when it comes back is probably first on the list. AEW for sure, Impact Wrestling for sure. I think, these bigger indies, if we can work with them, Hurricane Pro is another one that we'd like to work with at some point. So there's a lot of different indies out there that I think, would be great to work with. But I also think the sky's the limit, because as you pointed out, we do work on we work on different shows right now. And how long is it going to be until I go back to New Japan? Hopefully rather soon. So it's, you never know how these things are going to play out. But the nice thing is when you build up relationships, you can cross those barriers. As long as you're respecting everyone. They always say that when you're raising children, it takes a village. And, I think it's the same thing when you're building up all women's wrestling companies. It takes a village. It takes a village of all the wrestling communities.
Also worth noting, the Hex were NWA tag team champions at that point as well.
Yeah. And they worked with us when we were at Ring of Honor, and then they've worked with us since in WWA. So, you're going to see even more champions, I think, as we go along, for sure. I've got a few calls in right now that I'm hoping will come to fruition. So you just never know who might show up on one of our shows.
And Sean, just touching real quick, you want to take advantage of, not in a negative way, you take advantage in a positive way of the relationships you built with people over the years, and I think it's very important, and that we've been around so long. I was in Ring of Honor for 17, 18 years, but a lot of people came through the doors of Ring of Honor over those 17 or 18 years. And that's why I've run into so many old friends at AEW, and they're so excited to just hang out and talk again and so forth. And it's the same thing with Maria and Impact. So we couldn't have these conversations if a mutual respect wasn't there And as well as the talent, like you spoke of earlier, the talent has, quote unquote, put us over as how we ran the Ring of Honor women's division. That goes a long way, because if you didn't do it the right way, the talent would not be saying anything, or they'd be saying negative stuff, So it definitely helps just forge relationships. It's Women's Wrestling Army. Yes, it's a women's wrestling promotion, but the Army name also came from, Maria's big on a women's wrestling coalition, and kind of let's all work together, one group. Let's come together. Let's do this. You want this? When we have a champion, we'll send our Women's Wrestling Army champion wherever. That's not going to happen right away. We need to get to building championships, but we'll definitely be paying those back when we have the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Grapsity's Will Washington, who has a show here on Fightful, actually pressed AEW's Tony Khan about having a conversation with you, Maria. Did that conversation ever happen? And Bobby, as a follow-up, have you sort of pitched that as well and said, hey, I've got some experience here. If you want some help, if you want to delegate a little bit, I'm here.
Maria, you go first.
I will. I'm a very honest person, so I will answer honestly. We did have a conversation, and it went very well. And it was a good 30-minute, maybe 45-minute conversation. So it wasn't a short call. He gave me a good amount of his time, and I appreciate that greatly. And he said he was open to different ideas moving forward for Ring of Honor. So when Ring of Honor, or if Ring of Honor makes its re-debut, I'm sure that we'll have another conversation. And I'm really excited for what Ring of Honor will become, to have a different platform that more people will be able to see how great Ring of Honor really can be. And, the talent that comes out of there it's like you just know. That the talent, when it comes out of Ring of Honor, is going to be something special. Mm-hmm. And so I'm excited for it to re-debut.
Bobby?
Yes, my turn. So I have not spoken a single word to TK about Ring of Honor, women's division, anything like that. I've been so happy when Maria says that they text back and forth, or they had that conversation, because I am just so grateful to be holding a Ring of Honor an AEW microphone representing Ring of Honor on AEW programming. And, now I have done Dynamite, Rampage, Battle of the Belts, pay-per-view. I mean, I can't ask for anything more. I didn't know what my future was going to hold. So I'm just still taking that in, being very appreciative of TK and the opportunities he has given me with that. One day, maybe I'll be like, hey, you want to talk about it, some input or whatever. Sure. But I'm also waiting for, I think what I'm waiting for too is to see what is going to happen with Ring of Honor under his ownership. I don't think it's an if. I don't think he would have made the investment he did. And, he's made it very clear he's going to do what he can to get Ring of Honor as a weekly show and keep up the pay-per-views and everything. So, I see him in production meetings or backstage at the go position before I go out. That's about it. I'm good. He's so busy. And I have such a respect for his work ethic and so forth. I'm the last thing he needs to be talking, worrying about when I'm there present in his presence.
It's so funny though, because so I'll send Tony different snippets of what we're doing, our show, because I also want to be very respectful moving forward. If I want to ask for some of his talent for them to work on our show, I want him to be able to see our show and say, okay, we approve that or we disapprove it or whatever. But I always say, this is something I produce with my partner, Bobby Cruz. So he knows. But I always put Bobby in there. And Bobby's always very he doesn't outwardly talk about it so much, but I always put Bobby in there because for us, it's a team. I mean, Bobby, can I make the announcement for who we're going to have coaching for July?
Yes. Go for it.
We are bringing a coach, and we're bringing Allison Danger.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So we're very we wanted to make sure that it was a coach that had television experience, but also had experience in an all women's promotion. And who better than Allison Danger? So
In demand as well. MLW outright told me they wanted Allison Danger. Like they straight out admitted it to me.
Yeah. So we've got her. Never exclusively, but we got her. We're
She
very
can work
excited.
MLW too. It's fine. She can work MLW too.
Of course. But I'm just saying, like, we're really excited about having her. And having another female voice backstage, and we're gonna keep building that as we grow and as we can.
I'm also interested as to what that conversation with Tony meant for your Impact deal, because Mike is also very transparent to me. And, I'm always hitting him up and being like, hey, I heard these people signed this length of deal, but I haven't heard that about you for some reason. Why is that? And, when he doesn't want to give me an answer, he won't lie. He'll just no sell it. And then I'll poke around and I'll be like, how long is this person signed for? I'll get told. And I'm like, well, that's interesting. Usually they leave. You all haven't left. You're still there. So it's very clear that's working well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know how much you feel comfortable providing there, but like, how is that working?
So I don't talk about me as a talent.
Sure.
It's just not going to happen. I think it's better that way. So me as a talent is like a different person.
Yeah,
I had
that's
to
fair.
say this to Bobby one time, like that's because we were talking about Brand Army and different photos and things like that. I always say, like, that's the person on camera, and then there's the other person that's me, the real me, that's the mom, and wants to produce. And so I don't cross that.
Sure.
I don't cross that bridge when I'm talking with Tony about representing the women's division, whether it be human resources or producing talent. That's totally separate than me being a talent. I am signed with Impact for a few more months, but I love what we're doing. And
Good
we've
stuff.
got big things planned too. It's unfortunate that more people don't watch Impact. What we just did last night was one of the coolest segments I've seen in wrestling in a while, because with Mike taking the camera, with Tate, and this will be the producer side of me talking about what I did on screen as talent, but like with Taven grabbing the camera and bringing it close, and like just the cuts back and forth of showing Mike holding the camera, like that was really cool. And so it was Vincent's idea originally to grab the camera, but he had something to say on the actual show. So I said, well, can we still grab the camera some way? And then it ended up being Mike. And then I said, I'm going to get in the ring about the same time as Mike. Is there any way Mike can pan up me and then I can draw the camera? And so that's how that segment all came to play. But I love what we're doing because we can have that influence on doing it. And it brings those two sides of me together a little bit in being this managerial role. And, we've got champions in every single person we have on the team. So I'm super excited. Scott's one of the best bosses I've ever worked for. Great guy, willing to listen, brings people together. I mean, seeing all the different bosses of Impact in one photo was so cool, with Dixie and Ed and Billy. Like, that was just a really cool photo. And that's what he does. He brings people together. So yeah, it's an interesting time in my life right now.
It seems like it. And I'm that begs the question, like, what sort of challenges have you two faced so far?
Ooh. Well, Sean, first of all, I will say I am not presently under contract, but I've grown to love TK so much that he could put a paper in front of me tomorrow, and I won't even read it. I'll just sign it because I believe in him and his.
He's going to start charging you.
He's the savior of Ring of Honor. So thank God. Challenges. Time is number one. I mean, for me specifically, I luck out that I have older daughters now. Both my daughters are in college, of course, home for the summer, but they're out working, so I don't have to worry about dinner every single night or anything like that. But I do have a day job, that's why I have this can here, selling beer, that I've been doing for over 20 years at the same company. So that tied in with the occasional travel to AEW TVs, and as well as now our calls, Maria and I's calls with doing different interviews. Although we're very selective, wink, wink, at the interviews we do. See, only the big ones. And then also with the Pro Wrestling TV, we've been on calls with them once a week at least for the past several weeks leading up to the debut we had there. The stuff with Warrior Wrestling, talking to Impact. It's like, so there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of time. And then I got to sit down and I'm the genius that said, oh, I'll handle all the flights and the booking of hotels. And
I don't even like to handle my flights.
Yeah, like, what am I doing? Like, this is just ridiculous. So I all I really drink is beer and Sprite Zero, but I've never been a hard liquor guy, but I'm looking at some of this work. I might get to the hard liquor. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to. Yeah, I'll have someone that's supposed to fly from Newark flying out of Finland or something. But no, it's time. For me, it's time. That is the adjustment, and I'm still adjusting. To be honest, I haven't gotten it all figured out yet. I'm still. I think I have to sit down and say I need to, this day, this time. I know I have nothing going on as far as the day job or anything like that. I need to do this, and I need to do that. And I think once I get myself on some pattern like that, it'll be a lot better. But I'm still adjusting.
That's one of the things I would hear people mention a lot in ROH. They're like, I get to keep my day job, and I like my day job while still performing on a nationally and globally exposed wrestling company, which is not an option that they had anywhere else while making the kind of money that they made from ROH too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it was. I love double dipping, but and right now it's time consuming. So, and Maria, as she'll explain, she has other time things because she has the total opposite of what I do because she has younger kids.
Yeah, so the time is tough, but Bobby and I will always say we never wanted to be wrestling promoters. We liked our job. We were very happy, but with running the women's division at Ring of Honor, we had to concern ourselves with booking the TV show. We didn't have to worry about booking flights or hotels or buildings, which is the bane of my existence, or any of that stuff. I like bringing people together. That's one of my favorite parts of this job. And, as we've moved forward in this and like putting, Pro Wrestling TV with another person I know so that we can build something together, and then picking this person up because they're super talented. And I think that's kind of like, that's my favorite thing to do. But owning a wrestling company, no, thank you. It's not fun. It's not fun at all. No. Like, anybody that wants to do it, don't.
Fun's not the word.
I mean,
but we'll get to TV day and it will be awesome. Like, that is the best thing. Or when you see someone light up that they got an opportunity somewhere else, and that they're going to get a job somewhere else making good money. So like, that's a part of the job that you're like, oh my gosh, this is why I'm doing it. Because like, that just makes it all the better in the world. Like when Roxanne got hired by WWE, like I was over the moon for her. When she's gotten so many opportunities, I didn't know how it was going to go because you never know. But like, she's got opportunity after opportunity, and it's like that's the good part.
Still Roxy to me, but that's okay. I'm going with Roxy.
Again, guys, Chicago, July 8th, July 9th. For anybody that wants to attend, what can they look forward to without spoiling anything, obviously?
Lots of matches.
Yeah. Lots of matches. I could give names because I've already given some of the names on socials. Lufisto's going to be there. Maxie Impaler, Trish Adora, Miranda Alizé. We're going to have and there's actually other wrestling companies that are sending groups of women over to us, which is going to be really exciting. Cool. But I don't want to name that yet, just because I think it's going to be a really cool moment. We're going to have Tasha Steeles. Deanna is going to be there. We have quite the roster. And, every single time we work with these women, I think to myself, okay, this is a great match, but what other matches out there that we can, put together? And, there's also women that we couldn't get for this particular taping that I'm looking forward to down the road. So yeah. And then, with now Allison Danger being a part of it, the matches are going to be straight fire, and I can't wait to see them.
Yeah, this is when she just quickly alluded to about she's thinking about stuff down the road. This is when I almost have to hit like the mute button on Maria. That's going wild and throwing 100 different ideas at me at once. But we've joked about it. We've joked about it over the past year and a half because we both know how it works. She knows how her brain works, and now I know how it works. So, but, we work so well together. It's such a fluid relationship. Sometimes I just have to sit back and chuckle. But it's hey, I mean, I guess the results have been pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and Bobby's very good at, bringing up something out of nowhere that is going to be a huge success, like the Warrior Show. Like bringing in Deanna at the end of last year. So he's and there's another huge decision that I can't tell anybody about, but he comes up with really, really good like moments in wrestling. So
I'm the moment booker. Yes, I'm the moment.
The moment booker. Oh man. Well, July 8th and 9th, Chicago. You can get all the information you need at womenswrestlingarmy.com. But before we wrap up, each one of you let them know where they can support anything else or find any other content that they need to find. Bobby, you can sign him for $0 if you're Tony Khan at least. So lots of information readily available out there.
I will buy Tony Khan whatever he wants. Burgers.
The contract is going to be you buying him 2 McChickens, and then you're signed.
I don't even need a contract. As long as he keeps giving me the opportunities he's been giving me, I'm good. It's perfectly fine.
You deserve them. That's
you deserve a deal.
You deserve them.
I would assume let's get a Ring of Honor TV deal, then we can talk contracts with people. So I'm very patient. He's been awesome. Obviously, I gotta stop. It almost sounds like
you're trying to work your way into a value meal is what you're trying to do.
Oh my goodness! I'll let Maria give all the vital information as to where you can find us and everything. One thing I do want to say that has come up and a few times, and Maria's gotten most of these questions, is when are you doing customs? Right? This question has come up. And I think fans need to realize this is not a custom women's wrestling company. We are a women's wrestling promotion with professional wrestling women's talent, with storylines, with different things going on, with TV episodes, and all of that. So if we can just yell it from the moon that this is not any sort of a grab of money for different things. I think that is very big. I think people got a little thrown off because of us debuting our brand Army, which is a subscription service similar to a Patreon and others. So they didn't know what it was. And so what is this? I mean, that's the question we get all the time. Sure. We're actually just released a video that basically where Maria explains what Women's Wrestling Army is. And when Maria tells you about our socials, you can find it there at any time. But that is our biggest thing right now, is getting that message out. This is a women's wrestling promotion. Like, think Glow from the 80s, except actual good wrestlers.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I don't want to be the one to say it, but somebody keeps trying to bring that back, and I don't know if it's a great idea. I mean, listen, I'm of the belief that show took off because it was such an off-the-wall, plausible, implausible thing that it made a great story, and one guy seems to think that people that can't wrestle is the way to go. Whatever.
I think. Well, before Maria gives your spiel, I will say this. Number one, I watched Glow when I was a teenager. It was on a Boston station. 11 o'clock on a Saturday night was World Class. Saturday night was at midnight was Glow. So I watched both back to back from 11 to 1 a.m. So I watched all the time. It was great. If anyone thinks that the quality of wrestling was good, then okay, I guess we can have that discussion some other time. But I think women's wrestling, where it is now, where it has grown over the past several years, you see it. You see it main eventing TVs. You see it main eventing pay-per-views. I would prefer to continue that trajectory and not go backwards as far as having women who actually aren't that great of wrestlers. Let's not go back to the days of the 80s and not regress. I think the women athletes that are out there now, a lot of which we work with, a lot of them are in Impact and in AEW / Ring of Honor, of course, have worked so hard over the years to earn that respect and the opportunities that they're getting. So I would hope that Glow does not come back. That's what I'll say.
There you go.
Okay, Maria.
Okay, so Brand Army is our fan club. It's where you can get all the episodes first. You will get them first as we build our TV deal with Pro Wrestling Television. So brandarmy.com/women's wrestling army to join our fan club. You can get tickets on womenswrestlingarmy.com. They're also on Eventbrite. So if you would rather just go directly to Eventbrite and then search Women's Wrestling Army, you'll see our 2 shows in Chicago. They are at Logan Square Auditorium, which is a fantastic building, which AAW and Warrior Wrestling has ran before. Cool venue. It's going to have great matches on it. If you want to watch and follow us on socials, on Twitter, it's W Wrestling Army. And on Instagram, it's Women's Wrestling Army. And you can check all the information there as well. There's link trees. I mean, you could just go to my pages. I read everything. I just stopped doing my own stuff. This morning, I had to do stuff for my Brand Army. I did stuff for Women's Wrestling Army. I had stuff up for Impact Wrestling. I congratulated a few friends on some stuff. And I was like, all of this stuff is going to get lost. So just go to womenswrestlingarmy.com and come see the show because it's freaking awesome. And it's the only thing I really want to be doing at this point in my life. So make it so. All the people.
Guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you, Maria. Check out Women's Wrestling Army.
Thank you.
Until next time, guys, we're out.
Thank you.